Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Drawings to Doze Off To for the sleep-deprived. And right now I want you to take a deep breath, lay back, loosen up, just completely untense your body and prepare to have sweet dreams. Wow, it has been a long time since I've said that. Hi again, everybody who is tuning in. This is the first episode of Drawings to Doze Off To in several months. I have been so busy. Life is very crazy right now, and I'm going to get into all of that for anybody who doesn't know what's been going on and why I've been kind of missing in action when it comes to Drawings to Doze Off To. But I'll explain all of that first, though. I do want to talk a little about the piece that I'm working on in this episode. And the title of this piece is called Crybaby. I got the inspiration for this piece actually almost 2 years ago. Really long time ago. I was taking selfies in my mirror when I had my beautiful long red wig, and one of the selfies that I took, because you guys know that I get inspiration from my selfies quite often, I just look at them and I start to see things that aren't there, and I just come up with ideas. And for this particular selfie, I felt like I looked I wasn't trying to, and I wasn't actually feeling this way, but to me in the photo I looked really upset, really hurt. And the funny thing about it is that I was actually trying to look sexy, which usually fails, I think, for a lot of us when we're trying, instead of just letting it happen. So that's what was going on in the selfie. And when I looked at it, I was just thinking about how great it would look as a certain style of drawing. When I first saw it, I imagined tears on my face, and I was looking at it like kind of a comic strip type animation. If you've ever seen those old-fashioned, like those old-fashioned illustrations with like where they actually write the sound effects of what's happening in the picture. they write it and draw it onto the photo. I was kind of thinking like that. That's what I was seeing when I was looking at it. So I thought to myself, I want to draw this picture of my face, add tears to it to make it look like I'm crying, add this really bright, vibrant background to kind of give it that look. And I want it to be one of the pieces that I do for Valentine's Day. Now, I didn't get to actually start working on this piece until Valentine's Day had already come and gone. And that's just because of all of the life changes that I experienced between that time and once I actually started working on it. And when I started on it, it was after I had finally gotten settled into my new apartment and I was ready to work on art again. Finally had the time and the energy to get back to drawing, and it was the first thing that I wanted to do. It was the project that I was the most excited about, and I actually decided to try something new because this is the first piece I've ever attempted to do on wood. I had seen a lot of color pencil artists use their pencils on these smooth wood panels, and it really makes the colors pop, and even more so than the gray toned and the tan toned paper that I love to use. And I just really wanted to try it out for myself and see if I liked it, and I actually ended up loving it, and I think it was perfect to use for a piece like this one. My two goals for this piece was, number one, I wanted it to be very pink. In actuality, I wanted all of my projects from this year to have a pink theme. Pink has been my favorite color for a few years now, and I noticed that my favorite pieces are whenever I use a lot of pink shades and beigey shades, and so I wanted to have kind of a collection of pieces like that for 2021. So that was my first goal with this piece, to not only shade the background pink, but to have hints of pink in the face and in the hair. And my second goal was to really make these teardrops pop. I really wanted the tears to stand out the way they do in those old-fashioned kind of comic strips that I was talking about. I just wanted them to look like not three-dimensional, but just kind of look like you could reach in to touch the photo and actually feel the tears on her face. So now let me talk a little bit about why I've been away for so long and what's been going on in my life. At the time that I moved in and I finished this piece, I was also working on a commission that I have been working on for a really long time. Not an extremely long period of time, but just a lot longer than I typically would work on a commission. I usually give myself about 6 weeks to finish one, but there were just so many changes happening in my life when I first received the commission that just ended up not happening. Thank God the customer is so patient and understanding with me, so they knew every step of the way what was happening and everything like that. So since it had already been so long, I really wanted to get his commission done. And for me personally, I know that if I try to work on personal projects at the same time that I'm working on a commission, I will just become completely wrapped up in the personal projects and just kind of push the commission to the side, because for me, commissions are work, and my personal projects, although they're also work, they feel a lot less like work. They feel like less of a chore, and I enjoy doing them more because they're my babies. Like, I birthed them from my mind and I'm creating them from my own inspiration and, you know, everything like that. So I told myself not to work on any personal projects until I get this commission done. So it was taking forever, and that's the beginning of why it's been so long since there's been any new artwork after this piece. This piece, I believe I finished in March. I haven't done any new art since then. So the second part of why I haven't been able to work on anything is because in late April I found out I was pregnant. As any of you who subscribe to the channel and watch my other videos that aren't art related, you guys know I'm 4.5 months pregnant now. But I found out in late April, and immediately the next day after I found out, that's when all of the first trimester blues kind of hit me. So that's when I got morning sickness and I got the hunger pangs all day, every day, and I got the just feeling completely drained all the time. That started right then, and it lasted for about 2 months. Not as severe in the second month, but still there. And so because of that, especially in the first month, I was just completely unable to do any of my work except the ones that I could do strictly from my phone and my laptop and not have to get out of bed to do. Anything I had to leave my bed for could not be done. I literally lived in my bed those first 2 months. It was terrible. And of course, I wanted to work on art so badly, and I just couldn't. And that's why there hasn't been any new art. And I kind of came up with an idea, since it was so hard for me to sit up and do anything outside of my bed for too long, like really longer than 20 minutes maybe. I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe I could use this time to try to experiment with doing abstract pieces. And that is because for me, abstract is not going to be as time consuming as the super detailed, realistic pencil portraits that I do. And I have so many color palettes that I've come up with and I've saved that I wanted to use for future portraits, and I never end up using them for my portraits. And so I thought to myself, I could turn to those for my abstract pieces that I work on, and finally, do something with those. So I am actually going to be experimenting with abstract very soon. It might be the next art related videos that you see, might be my abstract pieces, if I decide to film them. But for sure, if I film them, I'll upload them, and we'll find out together how good I am at it. Or if it's something I should just leave alone. But I'm actually really excited about doing it. Here you can see me working on the tears, and what I did in order to make them look like real tears, I kind of left most of the color of my skin showing, and I really didn't add anything else to the tears except a little kind of dark border around the bottom of them, just to show the direction and like the actual where the tear is running. And then I added some little white highlights here and there just to show the tears glistening on the face. And other than that, there wasn't much that I had to do. I think I add more of a shadow again later on just to make them really pop. But yeah, when it comes to tears, you can see through them. They're translucent, so I just let them blend into the color of the face. Working on the hair in this piece was kind of a daunting task. I mean, drawing hair for me in general, at least with color pencils, is a daunting task. But it was more so that way for this piece because I had already finished everything else and the rest of it looked so amazing that I felt all this intense pressure to not fuck up the rest of the drawing by messing up the hair. And as simple as it seems to shade in straight hair like this, it really is more difficult for me to do this than it is to draw kinky or curly hair. I just have never been really good at drawing straight hair with color pencils. Now with pastels, it would be easy peasy, just do whatever, and it just always ends up amazing. But with color pencils, you have to be more careful about placement and shading, and yeah, it wasn't perfect, but I did what I could to make it look as realistic as I possibly could. And I'm actually not like disappointed with how it ended up coming out. It was kind of getting scary halfway through, but I'm like, I don't think I'm doing this right. But the finished product is good enough. I'll say that. It was good enough for me. Once I started shading in the background, I realized that it would have been so much better if I had some paint, which of course I don't have, because we all know that I'm not the greatest when it comes to wet mediums. I just stick to the dry stuff, stick to what I know. But yeah, I was really wishing that I had some paint, because this process was so long and it was killing my arms and my fingers and my hand, and just ultimately didn't come out, no matter how much I blended and shaded and how many layers I added. It just really didn't come out as smooth as I wanted it to. And I've actually been thinking about just going into Photoshop and editing the background with a solid color for any prints that I have made, which, by the way, I do have prints of these for sale. I'm not selling them myself. I'm actually working with the Black Artist Space and having them manufactured, packaged, and shipped through Black artist space, so you can purchase prints of this piece on their website, which I will link below, and you can purchase the original from me on my website, which I will also link. And yeah, that's all I have for this piece. I'm in love with it. I know it's the only piece I've done this year, but it's my favorite piece from this year. And this was one of those pieces where everything just went as good as it possibly could. And I still look at it every day and just adore it. Usually you kind of stare at work that you like until you hate it and it starts to look ugly. This piece will always look amazing to me. I really snapped with this. I hope you guys agree. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys have sweet dreams. Good night, guys.